Roland Wana, who was kidnapped more than 100 days ago, has finally regained freedom. There was plenty of celebration in Idabato, Jabane yesterday night, and of course this morning he shall be expected to be received by Southwest Governor Bernard Tokala Bilai in the chief town of the Southwest region of Cameroon, that is Boyam, this morning. And of course it is a good thing that is alive. We just want to say congratulations and thank God that is alive again. So this morning, ladies and gentlemen, we shall begin setting the ball rolling with our very first slot, which of course happens to do about our reflection. Let's reflect this morning about politeness. Oh yes, one of the greatest victories you can gain over someone is to beat him at politeness. One of the greatest victory you can beat your enemy or your friends is about being polite in life. It's important for us to learn to be polite. Sometimes you get into an office, you greet, bonjour, good morning, and quitte envoyer. That's how some secretaries do behave, right? It doesn't tell well. Even with taxi drivers, you said good morning is a problem. Another ingredient that makes the attitude of politeness beautiful: give respect to get respect. Always learn to give respect to get respect. It is important for you to give respect, even if it's a child. Give them that respect as a child, and you too shall definitely gain respect from them. So this morning we are inviting you all, our viewers all over the world this morning, to learn to cultivate the habit of being polite. Politeness is a great virtue. It is nothing, it costs nothing, but it wins everything. If we are polite, we can win friends. We can also influence people if we are polite. You can win friends anywhere. You get new into an environment, you meet people, just because you are polite, you are able to greet them. Hello bro, good morning, how are you? Can I ask you a few questions? Yes, that's how politeness is. With that, you can win new friends. You can influence people. That's important. Is that how important politeness is? Even at your job site, it's good to be polite to your colleagues. When you are rude, you always have problems. Politeness is very important. Polite expressions in everyday English. We have asking for permission. These are the few examples. Do you mind if? Would it be a problem if? I was wondering if I could. If you want to ask for permission, not understand it, maybe you don't understand something from a colleague or a hierarchy. Sorry, pardon me, excuse me. If you disagree, what are some of the sentences you could use? I see what you are saying, but I think you could be right. But I don't forget that. But don't forget that. Yes, that's true, but it's not sure that. Those are better ways to, when you disagree, you try to present your own point of view to make your hierarchy or your colleague to understand why you think that his or her opinion is not the best, but this is your suggestion. Making requests, asking for something. Can I, could I, may I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your pen? Can I borrow your car? Can I borrow your bike? Those are some of the examples how you can best interact yourself in the society. It's very important. This morning we decided to bring to your attention for us to understand, to learn to cultivate the habit of being polite. So that was it on a reflection this morning, ladies and gentlemen, viewers all over the world, watching us at the comfort of your homes, watching us on your handset, be it on our Facebook page where we are streaming live this morning, Home TV, on our YouTube channel, Home TV Cameroon. We are saying we are delighted to know that you are there for us this morning. This is how I just want us to digest our morning reflection. We are inviting Gisa to do for us this morning. Eyala.
Singa mwa mobile wae alo Kwete singa sompela eku Ande na nogi msinga mwa mobile wana Isote senga sopela ebu Nanongi msinga mwa mobile wae Alo Wete senga sopela ebu Bande nanongi ebonga mobile wana Alo, alo, alo Isote senga sopela ebu Nalangi ndolo miso moko alo Yete bale nilangwa ebu Nalangi ndolo miso moko Alo nanu nanu alo Ulemlem de bane no senga ebu
Nalangi ndolo miso moko alo
Onambana na letelemo Aliemba ngenge tasawa Nini unde uti na mwipanya bengei Alea peti uibobo Bise na nuno totimo Wana monde na meneno Na lungeti na kiwana silili Ndeto sona nano Bongo mandesi Sanemo Otinda kwa dibeni Biala bese bese Omeno na singila Mutengene wae Alo, atenanu Monde mwambane no senga na niye
Nalangi ndolo miso moko alo
Alo, alo
Ebale nilangwa Nalangi ndolo miso moko Alo nanu nanu alo Ulende pebale no senga niye
Ino neve mienge musango
Nalangi ndolo miso moko alo
Sema tila mo
Nalangi ndolo miso moko Alo nanu nanu alo Ulende no senga niye
Lem de no senga niye nanu Lem de no senga niye Mulem senga niye ayo Bayo Lem de no senga niye
Maybe on the cliff là te connais ici. La manière la bourse de Londres.
À Londres? Mais qu'est-ce que tu fais à Londres?
Excusez-moi, ça vous dérange de faire un peu moins
De bruit? On est venu plus aller les couilles, venir faire les amis.
Beautiful music there from Ngisa, Nalange Mo, na Miso Mami. It's very important. I can read you with my eyes. Permit me say, Dibabwam, Bamasango, Bamanyango, those of you watching us from Dedo, those of you watching us from Bonateki, we're talking about those of you in Bonambape, those of you in Bonamikenge, in Aqua, we are thinking about those of you in the Lonako subdivision of the Mongo division, Bakate. It's a small village just before you get to Kongsamba. It's always with renewed energy that we do welcome you all on board home morning every day from Mondays to Fridays between 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. And of course, from music, we are taking you over to our next slot of the day, which happens to be a health secret with His Royal Majesty, Dr. Fro. This time around, he's doing for us the common illnesses that we have. How can we overcome some of the health challenges in our society?
You are welcome once more to the program Home Secret. Today, I will be explaining or expatiating on issues that will create some awareness to help us realize why man is sick each day and looking for doctors, looking for healers, moving from one place to another with deplorable health situations. Why is it that man is always sick? Man, notwithstanding his knowledge, man has a well-developed brain, he has a mind, he has a spirit, he's controlled by the Spirit of God, but he's always sick. Sick, in need of doctors, in need of pastors, in need of prophets each day. But the animals in the wild, they don't know how to pray. They just eat anyhow. They don't even wash their food. They eat with dirty hands. They don't brush their mouth, their teeth. They sleep under very bad or harsh conditions, beaten by mosquitoes, insects. They wound themselves. They eat dirty food, infected food with bacteria, fungi, parasites, viruses, toxins. But they don't have doctors. They are always healthy. They are always fresh. They are always strong. But man, on the contrary, notwithstanding his well-developed brain, man is educated. Until we answer the question why, then the health of man will continue to decay with time. What do I mean by decaying with time? Those who have studied geography, if they say something decays with time, you hear of half-life. I mean, with time, the health of man will be deteriorating. The lifespan of man will be reducing with time until become a time that if man manages to reach 10 years or clock 10 years, it means he has tried. Man is sick because man is breaking the rules kept in place by his creator, the Almighty God, that will guide him. In a nutshell, most of our health problems are coming because of dietary divergence. Ladies and gentlemen, I greet you all. You are once more welcome to Health Secret. I'm your African doctor, African medicine man who deals with medicine. The one you know is healer, Dr. Richard Fru of the Garden of Eden Naturopathic Institute of West Africa with acronym GENUA. Today I'll be talking on a common health challenge that is everywhere. It's so common, most especially those who live poorly. It's so common abroad in the Western world. I will talk about it, and I believe many people will understand why they suffer this problem, and they will adjust their lifestyle and will get relieved. Piles and hemorrhoids. Piles and hemorrhoids. Piles, you have bleeding and non-bleeding piles. When the anus is coming out, not bleeding, they call non-bleeding. The one that is coming out is bleeding, you call bleeding piles. Then you have even internal ones, you bleed internally because there's a tear. And then you have hemorrhoids. Hemorrhoids more swollen beside the anus because it's a blockage, because of a health condition. At times when it swells, tension, get blood to start flowing, the hemorrhoids. And there are some painless hemorrhoids. Many people have painless hemorrhoids around their anus or the anal region. They are there, they are not painful. Well, I don't need, I've given a lot of lectures over radio, television for decades about piles and hemorrhoids. So I will not belabor more on defining what they are. Many people already know what piles and hemorrhoids are. Many already know. But I want to make people understand why they get piles and hemorrhoids, even though I've explained that a lot through so many programs. But I still want to emphasize on that. Then I will tell you what to do. Piles, hemorrhoids are caused by constipation. And there are the problems that leads to constipation. So constipation is the forerunner of piles and hemorrhoids. And constipation is a chronic disease. See, it's a whole chain.
You have a disease, a problem in your body, you don't treat it, it starts getting chronic, it gives constipation. Constipation stays there for long, you don't treat it, it leads to piles, hemorrhoids. There are so many things that can lead to constipation. Poor combination of food, like people eat fruits after meal. You don't eat raw, cook and raw food together. It causes fermentation that leads to constipation. People eat watermelon together with other fruits. It will give constipation give constipation, poor digestion, constipation, and poisoning. People who eat late at night, go and sleep with food in the stomach, they always give constipation. Who eat food that is poor in fiber, refined food like the white bread, white rice, all those type of things, poor food, fast food, they always have constipation. People who eat food that is poor in fiber. Fiber is known as the broom that sweeps the stomach. So if you are in a house without broom, what will sweep dirt in the house? If there is no broom, you are living in a house, no broom, what will sweep the dirt? The dirt will remain there, accumulate, develop germ and so on, poison the whole house, no one can live there. So if there is no broom to sweep your stomach, what happens? Food will remain there, decay, all food decay, food upon food upon food. All type of germ, micro parasite will grow there and destroy you. So fiber is what sweeps the stomach. It's the broom of the gut, the intestine. That sweeps the intestine. So always eat food that is rich in fiber, whole grains, a lot of fruits, eat a lot of vegetables, eat natural food that is rich in fiber. Avoid artificial food, refined food, white bread, white rice. Don't eat much of it. Or if you must eat them, they have to complement with food that have fiber. Fiber is what works against constipation. So you have to avoid constipation if you don't want to have pie. As long as you start having constipation, know that you are already becoming a candidate for pie or hemorrhoids, or pies and hemorrhoids. So you have to avoid that. Our research in tropical Africa shows that most people who suffer typhoid or carrier or typhoid, or people who have had typhoid, they cured but they never cure completely, those are the majority of people who have pies. And that is why the first test when somebody comes there has pie, like even he has been there for 20, 30 years, people are coming to us with pies. Some kind they have done about 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 operations in their anus. They all keep cutting, but they don't look for what is causing the pie. Keep cutting only anus and stitching, repairing. I say panabiting the anus, panabiting the anus. Keep panabiting the anus. Not looking for the cause. So many people come with the anus have been panabited severally. So we always look for what has caused your anus to be panabited. So most of the time, majority of those who come will discover that they have typhoid. Some have paratyphoid. The paratyphoid can be there quiet. You know, when I used to lecture about typhoid, I said many people have the typhoid bacilli. Because I mean, if it's single bacillus, many people have the typhoid bacilli or bacilli. Their carriers, very few. When the immunity is strong, their carriers. But when they spread this to people who contract it with a weaker immune system, it manifests, they fall sick. But there are many people who are carrier of the typhoid bacilli. They can be in them for 10, 15, 20 years. They will hardly fall sick. They will hardly have typhoid. But it will be in their stomach, troubling them, causing indigestion, constipation, affecting the stomach walls and so on, causing ineffective digestion and so many things going on that will lead to constipation. And the constipation is just there quiet going. See, you are not sick, you don't have constipation, you eat fruits, you stool, you drink a lot of water, you stool well, but you're not really bother much. See, you're not really sick to go in to really investigate what is wrong to cure it. You keep taking the laxatives and so on. Eating foods that have fiber will help you to stool, but it's there. But once they become chronic, as you're always going and pushing and people who have a constipation, they don't stool like normal people. They all have to push like a woman who is on labor. The woman who is on labor, all have to push and push. Too much pushing frequently gradually weakens the anal sphincter muscles. It gradually weakens the anal sphincter muscles. As you keep pushing away, the muscle get weaker and weaker, the internal tears weaker and weaker. The next moment you develop pie, start coming out, need you to push it away. The muscle is not strong enough. The elastic limit is exceeded. Elastic limit of so many things. The people put on, they eat as if they're fighting. They fill into more food in their mouth. They open their mouth until the elastic limit get exceeded. They have large mouth. The women who take in a lot of cucumber and hard things, and the elastic limit of the thing exceeds. And there are people who put in a lot of heavy thing in their anus. The elastic limit get exceeded, or they have to start putting diapers. So elastic limit of any orifice get exceeded when there's too much pressure there. So that was a good one. So when you start, people who have constipation, at times they will have a very big solid stool that is coming out. Very hard like stone. At times we even tear the anus. At times our expansion will tear the muscles of the anus. Or too much pushing and pushing, too much pressure, it causes some tears in the muscles of the anus, weaken the anal muscles, and the sphincter muscles they become weak and they cannot come out and go back. You need to always support them. And then when there are tears, you start bleeding. Those are what are called pies or bleeding pies. There are some pies that don't bleed, but when they start bleeding, there are tears. You start bleeding, you can have tears even internally in the rectum area, large intestine. So when you start when you are having pies, check your diet. You are eating food that are not rich in fiber. In a modern world today, there is really no food that are rich in fiber. I don't need to do it. People spend their time online exposing themselves on phones and so on, negative radiation, just chatting here. Hello, how are you? Chatting nonsense online instead of gaining knowledge. When you convey your megabytes or you're online, as you expose yourself to negative radiation, also wasting money and precious time, please spend your time, carry out research on what will better your life. You can easily go online, you'll discover foods that have a lot of fiber, even though our traditional meals are not, maybe you hardly find them online, but you go back to traditional meals. Our traditional meals are very rich in fiber, whether you're chew, your kwakoko Bible, your eggplant, whatever, arrow, ndole, and so on, all those foods, they are very rich in fiber. It's when you diverge, start eating this food that we have been brainwashed to eat, that they package and sell and all those things, and all the white bread, white stuff, yeah, that is when you lack fiber. Eating all the biscuits and so on, you lack fiber. Start eating fruits, you start buying all the sugary products, the drinks and so on, drinking, you lack fiber. That is where disease starts setting in. They even foil disease by eating such nonsensical nonsense things that you eat in the name of enjoyment. You think you are civilized, not knowing that you have been made bushy. You have been brainwashed and made your brain impaired, and you eat those things thinking that you are civilized, even laughing at somebody eating the natural food. That is another expression of foolishness. So when you have pies, all of you suffering pies, if you have gone around the world and so on, we master the secrets of pies. We advise everyone who is suffering from pie, whether I've been there for 100 years, we don't care. People come to us, some come with books that are bigger than the religious books joined together. At times, I don't even have time to go through the big books that have been going to suffer with pie for more than 20-something years, that have operated them, gone here. I will give treatment just 2-3 more and they get healed. Those are the miracles we create every day. So all of you who are suffering pie here and there, because that pie will affect you mentally, men will affect you sexually, women will affect even your libido, will affect you. You don't even have confidence in yourself. So imagine your anal coming out, you feel pain. Sometimes in my office they cannot even sit. Some of the things is hanging out. They cannot sit on the chair. They have to stand up to be consulted. Pain and so on. When you start having them come and meet us, because we don't only cure people, we cure you. They also educate you, counsel you, place you on diet, tell you where you make errors, not just giving medicine and prescribing, go and come tomorrow and add medicine. We don't do that. I'm a holistic doctor. We are out to heal. I'm a healer. I'm not a physician who just give medicine to cure. I'm a healer, so I'm out to heal people. We educate. Doctor means teacher. That is why I always teach. Teacher. A doctor who does not teach, only give medicine, is a physician, not a doctor. So if you are a doctor and you are not educating your patients, not educating people, then you are a physician, not a doctor. So I'm a doctor. So that is why I keep educating you people every day. So all those people suffering pie, please bring those your pies. Let me help you eradicate them. Stop suffering with them, moving them up and down and cutting your anus here and there, panabiting your anus. So this is a message that I'm blessing you with for today. So keep following this channel, Home TV. Then continue following our program, and you'll get more information about your health problem in subsequent programs.
Garden of Eden Naturopathic Institute of West Africa, Ginewa, our headquarters, Boya, Wonyamavio, Mile 18, Munya Road. Contact 674-286-493. Kumba, beside CPDM Hall, Kumba Town. Contact 674-288-671. Douala, besides Tropicana Ancien Route Beseke Bonaberi. Contact 674-289-523 or 695-936-243. Yaoundé, Biamasilak, from former Texaco, MRS former Shells Mayor. Contact 674-289-112 or 657-018-758. Bamenda, Jumabo Mankan, Bamenda again, behind Total Commercial Avenue. Contact 677-319-866. Limbe, Carr Street, Newtown. Contact 674-288-957. Bafoussam, behind Légion de Gendarmerie. Contact 680-219-145 or 697-921-385. For consultations only, contact his healer, Dr. Richard Fro at 677-628-980 or 699-958-893.
Home morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like reflection, news, health, discovery, talking points, press review, pigeon news, our guest of the day, sports, culture, and public opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, from our health secret, it's exactly 7:13 in Big Bekondo in Bafakabalue in the Dan Division. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to take you to our next lot, which is of course our press review. Our press review this morning will begin with the Lone Daily bilingual newspaper, that is Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune this morning captions about loot control at terrorists, le nouveau front numérique. It talks about the way of fighting terrorism in Africa and Cameroon in particular on pages 6 and 7 using numerical formation. That's ICT. And if you want to get an in-total of it, grab a copy of today's edition of Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune still captures on 2026 World Cup qualifiers, consolidated leadership position. It talks about the upcoming games of the Indomitable of Cameroon pitting Eswatini against as well as Libya. So if you want to know what Cameroon Tribune this morning is talking about, the big games coming up this weekend as far as today and other in the days ahead, you can grab a copy of today's edition of Cameroon Tribune. Cameroon Tribune equally captures on social media usage, need for regulation among students. The paper comes back to the ugly incident that occurred in Betwa as well as Kongsaba, that was over the weekend. So if you want to get a story about the detailed story about this incident, then grab a copy of today's edition of Cameroon Tribune. We leave Cameroon Tribune this morning to go over to municipal update of Cham Victor Bama. Municipal update this morning captions on Ndian kidnapped Idabato Dio regains freedom. The Dio for Idabato Wana, Mr. Wana, who got kidnapped more than 3 months ago, has finally regained his freedom from his captivators. And the paper equally goes further to caption on Chang escarpment, Works Minister launches work on alternative road. It talks about the Minister of Public Works, Emmanuel Ganon Jumesin, who has launched operation works or construction work of a new alternative road leading to Chang Douala. And if you want to get an in-total of it, grab a copy of today's edition of Municipal Update. Municipal Update equally talks about major national dialogue recommendation implementation. Follow-up committee reviews groundwork covered 6 years after today. The meeting is going to be chaired at the Prime Minister's office this morning, beginning as from 10 a.m. So if you want to get an intro of it or what has been done 6 years down the line, then grab a copy of today's edition of Municipal Update. And of course, Municipal Update equally talks about UN report 55% drop in humanitarian aid in Cameroon. If you want to get to know just what has been the stream work about humanitarian aid to Cameroon, which has dropped 55%, why? Get a copy of today's edition of Municipal Update. Semak sub-region, Cameroon set for cement export boom. This is the recent visit of Minister Fru Kalisus Gentry of Mines, Industry and Technological Development in the town of Edeya. That was yesterday. If you want to get to know about it or grab a copy of today's edition, just to cite here that the minister after Edeya is coming to Douala today to continue his tour, his working visit, to get to understand what has been done so far in terms of mining and exploitation industries are concerned in Cameroon. We leave Municipal Update this morning to go over to the Dawn newspaper. The Dawn newspaper captions about the PCC moderator Mickey Hans dedicates mandate to a defined church. He was inducted over the weekend in Boya alongside his collaborators, and then he announced that he's going to do all his best within his 5-year term in office to consolidate and make sure that reconciliation becomes implemented, as those who were disgruntled yesterday, they should come back to the church and see how they could contribute to the growth of the Presbyterian Church in Cameroon. The paper equally captions on Albert Njembonde takes over as president of the Dawn Association. The Dawn Association happens to be an association housing journalists, animators who hail from the southwest region of Cameroon, and of course Njembonde Albert has been elected as president overwhelmingly. That was in Limbe, the seaside resort town of Cameroon. And of course the paper goes further to say Mayor Mbaye reaches out to Muslim women at Miss Ramadan feast. The mayor of the Limbe 2 Council, Limbe 1 rather Council, Madame Flores Evorim Mbaye, has donated some items to the Muslim community in her constituency or in her municipality in Limbe. The paper equally captions on Ordian Cultural Festival to showcase the Ekwe Kitok of the corrupt people. So if you want to get to understand the first edition or the upcoming first edition of the Ordian Festival to hold this weekend in Mundemba, then grab a copy of today's edition of the Dawn newspaper to get to understand just what the paper is talking about. Pioneer City Mayor of Limbe, Andrew Motanga Monjimba, has been celebrated in that part of the Republic. So the Dawn is talking about the preparations to remember Mr. Andrew Motanga Monjimba, a one-time Southwest Regional Delegate of Transport, then served as the Limbe City Mayor, who died some few years ago. That was in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. He is being remembered by the city and the population in general, owing to the numerous contribution that he made in Limbe so far. We go over from the Dawn newspaper to get to the Pilot newspaper this morning. The Pilot newspaper this morning captions on Tanifo Wilfred elected new board president. If you want to get to know who is Mr. Tanifo Wilfred, get a copy to this edition of the Palo newspaper. The Palo newspaper equally talks about Menchum SDO encourages technical education. Technical education, which has been noticed that it's only for the week. Today, it's been given opportunity, it's been encouraged by many to get involved into technical education. And of course, the Palo newspaper this morning, build a stronger, more vibrant church. Funky Samuel, outgoing PCC moderator, tells Abia and Co. So if you want to get to understand just what the paper is talking about, grab a copy of today's edition of the Palo newspaper. The Palo newspaper this morning, we are leaving it, going over to the Post newspaper. The Post newspaper this morning talks about government reassures citizens of free HIV, TB, malaria services amidst ongoing disinformation. There has been ongoing misinformation on the social media saying that people have to start paying or begin paying to receive HIV, tuberculosis, malaria services, and of course the government of Cameroon through the Ministry of Public Health reaffirms that or debunks social media claims that government reassures citizens of free HIV, tuberculosis, and malaria services amidst ongoing disinformation. If you want to get an intro of it all, grab a copy of today's edition of the Post newspaper. New PCC, a moderator, PEC's mandate strengthening, edifying the church. If you want to get to understand just what the message was all about from the new PCC moderator was inducted over the weekend, grab a copy of today's edition of the Post newspaper this morning. Then you keep yourself informed. The paper goes further to caption this morning. We're staying with the Post. Moliwe indigenes chief denounced colonization attempts by Wana chief. This is an information coming in, which of course an interview granted to the media outfit, the Post newspaper, talking about the recent brouhaha ongoing out between Moliwe and Wana my four traditional chiefs, talking about land grabbing and other issues. So if you want to get informed about what is happening in Moliwe, Moliwe is located in the southwest region of Cameroon, in Pako division precisely. Grab a copy of today's edition of the Post newspaper. We are ending this morning with the Guardian Post newspaper this morning. Guardian Post talks about major national dialogue recommendations. Implementation committee meets today in Yaoundé. The meeting is going to be chaired by Prime Minister and Head of Government Chief Dr. Joseph Ngoutim to get to understand 6 years after the Grand Major National Dialogue what has been achieved and what is still pending. The paper equally goes further this morning to say Congo's national tour to inspect projects. Should it not be Ngoutim? The paper is asking the question, why was it the Secretary General inspecting projects in Douala and Cameroon in general? Why was it not the Prime Minister and Head of Government Chief Dr. Joseph Ngoutim? So if you want to get to understand if at all the claims the Guardian Post is making today is actually true, then grab a copy of today's edition of the Guardian Post this morning. For of course, we got information that there is a text that exists. It would have been the Prime Minister and not Mr. Ferdinand Gongo inspecting projects in Douala and the Douala port in general. At visit to plant in Ideya, Dibamba, Mines Minister unveils plan to make Cameroon major cement exporter. I told you all that the Minister of Mines and Technological Innovation, Professor Fru Callisto Gentry, stormed Ideya yesterday. Is in the littoral region for a 1 week or a week-long working visit to get to understand just what has been done so far to beef up our mining sector in Cameroon and of course our cement factories in Douala. Remember that Douala is economic capital. We have plenty of cement factories. I don't want to cite names because of publicity's sake. But then the minister is expected to Douala today. He started yesterday in Ideya, coming down to Douala today to meet with some experts and go down to the field to visit some factories to get to understand what has been done so far. You remember the Minister of Vocational Training, Issa Chirima Bakarim, some time ago chaired a meeting in Douala encouraging human resource officers in different companies that it is time for us, or it is time for them to begin recruiting Cameroonians and give them a place in most of these companies that we have in Cameroon. But then the question is, do Cameroonians have the technical aptitude to manage some of these companies? That's why we are encouraging. You got it, or the SDO or the deal convention encourages technical education. It's important for us to go back to technical education so that we could give it place and regain economy in Cameroon. So that's how we saw the papers this morning. We hope that Prince will be here for us tomorrow. We are apologizing that he could not make it today, but then with that notwithstanding, he will be here tomorrow to continue with our press review. So we are going to digest our press review this morning, inviting Betonde James featuring Tokamo to sing for us this beautiful piece, and a beautiful way to say good morning to the people of Indian Division and celebrating the coming back of the duo of Idabato, Mr. Alex Ewane.
Nana
Naganwa, Jumie, One, Osa Kirungwane, Mumano Meni Oboruki Moaemo, Anamaino Maya, One Banako, Egaranaga, Moisae, Kawabekanae, Itoe, Omoro, Moisae, Kawabekanae. Moto wa komi nyambongusa moayemo, moto wa komi sambongusa moayemo, sikinga wanu unyama kwa beringa na nyambo, moisa kanga na nyambo okami, moisa kanga na nyambo nana nyama tikia na obane moe, nana nyama tikia na obane moe, aiko biyo imosiko wanae. Ojaba sakingo, ojaba sakingo, kumani ngomo yasu. Ojaba sakingo, ojaba sakingo, kumani ngomo yasu. Ukani sakani, ukani sakani, kumani sakani. Hey! Uwengu wana mobia, imama ye. Uwengu wana mobia, sita wasa elango. Uwengu wana mobia, uwengu wana mobia, uwengu wana mobia ye. Uwengu wana mobia, chief mokete nebale. Uwengu wana mobia ye. Uwengu wana mobia, mami Rosi basame. Uwengu wana mobia, totoke mantina njeo. Uwengu wana mobia, manu ibwe langwe. Uwengu wana mobia ye. Uwengu wana mobia, samo sama mokete. Uwengu wana mobia ye. Aya o kanwani ye. Anama o kanwani bo. Waberi ye, unuke nuke. Waberi ye garega o. Waberi ye, otanga rumiko. Mobia o, ona namatare. Owini bana mobia, owini bana mobia e. Owini bana mobia o. Owini bana mobia, owini bana mobia e. Owini bana mobia o. Aha! Minya Maroko, Tokwani. Gayo, hey, Gayo. Ose. Enye kwe titi, temba ipenato barika. Mbale, moto tato kwe akate sanjananginya. Gayo, sankani, kimani. Obetule, tetu. Erakani. Yaha. Mama sere elango boga kae. Masoma mama. Kanwani ye. Aya o kanwani ye. Mtoke kanwani ye. Kimani.
Home morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like Reflection, News, Health, Discovery, Talking Points, Press Review, Pigeon News, our guest of the day, Sports, Culture, and Public Opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy. Home Morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like Reflection, News, Health, Discovery, Talking Points, Press Review, Pigeon News, our guest of the day, Sports, Culture, and Public Opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy. Home morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like Reflection, News, Health, Discovery, Talking Point, Press Review, Pigeon News, our guest of the day, Sports, Culture, and Public Opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy. Home Morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like Reflection, News, Health, Discovery, Talking Point, Press Review, Pigeon News, our guest of the day, Sports, Culture, and Public Opinion. Make it.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. That was a beautiful piece there. Betonde James featuring Tokamo to celebrate the population, the people of Nzan Division. It's important for us to always celebrate them. We are all Sawa people, right? Yes, that's the beauty of Cameroon. We are going to be discussing, like I told you, that the divisional officer for Idabato, Mr. Wana, has finally regained freedom after more than 3 months in captivity. And so Prince said this morning he was not available for press review for you, but he's here to talk about the release, the miraculous release of the divisional officer for Nzan Division. Prince, good morning.
Good morning to you, everyone, and of course, good morning to the million televiewers of Home TV. It's a privilege to be on set this morning. We're held by traffic, but of course, we thank the ancestors that we're live again to tell Cameroonians some of the burning issues. And like you did announce, Wana, it is good news for Cameroon. It is good news for the family of Wana Ruland, divisional officer of Idabato, that is in Nzian Division. And of course, it is an area that is thickly populated by Nigerians, according to the governor of the Southwest region, Bernard Okalabilai. He said that 91% of those who live in Idabato in the Bakassi Peninsula are all Nigerians. And of course, if we were to go by what the governor said, that he was kidnapped by Nigerians, it is good news for the family members who should be celebrating this morning, Henry.
After so many persons, so many of us thought that he was dead, because we saw videos, pictures on the social media on how he was molested. I mean, it was so. I wish I also would have loved that the deal for Batibo, who was kidnapped and to date he has never returned, to would have regained his freedom after 3 months. But like it has always been, we thank God that the deal for Idabatom has finally regained his freedom.
Of course.
Yeah.
Henry, maybe we should also be able to tell our viewers this morning that these guys who kidnapped the divisional officer for Idabato had a lot of demands. They demanded for close to 60 million francs CFA. They demanded for boats, and they also demanded that some of their compatriots are in prisons in Cameroon, and that if their compatriots are not released, and that if the 60 million francs is not given to them, they would not release the divisional officer. Now, the $1 million question on every lips is that the Cameroon government actually give the 60 million francs that these guys were asking for. They did also provide the boat, and did they also release some of these guys that were in prison? That is a $1 million question, and we should also be able to tell our viewers that the brother of Wana Ruland, according to reports that we got, sold nearly all his properties, did everything, and the family members contributed whooping sums to give to the pirates. At the end of the day, he was still not released. So maybe in the days ahead, we are expecting to get from publishers, as journalists that we are also supposed to do an investigation to find out whether or not, because the truth is there were negotiations, but we cannot authoritatively say whether or not these negotiations were made. But the good news is the divisional officer is out, he's free, and we should also be able to say he's not the first. We remember that at one time the vice president, Amadou Ali, was kidnapped. That was in the far north by Boko Haram terrorists, but he was later on released
We had Senator Regina Mundi.
Thank you very much. In the
Northwest region.
Was later on released. But now, where the negotiations actually made, we cannot authoritatively, as journalists, say whether they were met, but the divisional officer for Idabatu is free today. I'm sure that there is a celebration in his home because
celebrations all started last night.
Okay.
His wife began celebrating with Vuvuzela. Yes. I mean, the video clips are available. When a Pigeon newscaster will be here, you are going to see them.
Of course.
It was so wonderful.
And
you know, it's something nobody expected. We all had lost hope that he might be dead. He might. We were not able to conclude because if we had divisional delegates who were killed, who were slaughtered and buried in the Manfe, we to consider that maybe he too has been slaughtered. We look at the horrible images on Facebook and social media in general,
and even the audio clip that the divisional officer sent crying to the
crying for salvation from the wilderness,
like Bobby Yerima Fuakwamo say. There's an audio that is sent out that he first of all called on his immediate boss. That's a senior divisional officer for Diane Gilbert, and he told the senior divisional officer to cry to the governor, Bernardo Calabile, and that the governor should cry to Paul Atanganji, and that Paul Atanganji should cry to the president that he's going through horrible conditions, and given the video that we also saw on social media where he was tied as though he were a cow, we want to say that Mr. Divisional Officer, welcome back. Freedom is one thing we should not play with. And he was kidnapped on a day that is very significant in the history of Anglophones. That was on the 1st of October. And if it did not come out clean that he was kidnapped by Nigerians, he would have been that he was maybe kidnapped by a terrorist armed group. So it's of course good news that he has been released, and just like you said, Henry Wana, maybe before I leave you, the Interim Minister of Mines, Industry and Technological Development, Professor Fokaleso's gentry is in Douala. He started his working visit, like the press said, yesterday in Edea. He continues today in Douala, and of course he's going to visit other areas right up to Kake and other areas in Douala until Friday, where he's going to end his working visit.
Aside that, we had the Prime Minister and Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph Zongote, will be chairing a meeting today, 6 years after the Grand Major National Dialogue in Cameroon. What are some of those recommendations that have been achieved? While those pending, what could be the stumbling block? So hopefully tomorrow we shall be back, of course, to edify our viewers what has been done so far, what is still pending.
6 years after the major national dialogue that held in 2019, and of course lots and lots of recommendations were done. We also want to remember that Minister Paul Tassong is the man who is the head of the reconstruction of the Northwest and the Southwest, and as we have seen him on the field. So today, of course, all the stakeholders that are involved in the follow-up committee of the major national dialogue will be giving a balance sheet to Prime Minister, Head of Government, Chief Dr. Joseph John Guti, that this is what we have done, this is the challenges we made, and of course they will be looking at what has not yet been done.
All right. Thank you very much, Prince, and once again we say congratulations. We remember that the governor of the Southwest went to Idabato and gave the pirates 72 hours to produce the deal. It did not come to reality, and it's only after about more than 3 months that they had to release the division officer. The one good thing we are celebrating today for nothing.
We're just celebrating that he's back.
We are celebrating that he's back again to his family, to his friends, and to his nation, to continue serving his nation. We remember that the mayor of Idabato was behind bars. Many were thinking that he had connection with the kidnapped of the deal. So we hope that with the release of the divisional officer today, he shall actually going to regain his freedom as well from prison in Boya. He is expected to be received today by the governor, Bernard Kalad, so they could discuss what actually happened. How was it like being in captivity?
They should tell his story.
All right, we are going over to our next law this morning. Let's have a discovery this morning. We are taking you to Kribi.
Cameroon is a state located below Nigeria and Chad, bordering the Atlantic Ocean. The country has known a colonial past of several decades, but this has not prevented it from keeping its traditions and its atypical culture. And since its independence on January 1st, 1960, Cameroon has remained a land of sharing and a place of diversity. If you're not sure why we say such a thing, well, stay until the end of the video and you will know 10 interesting facts about Cameroon. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, please click the button and turn on the notification bell so you can be notified every time we upload a new video. Let's get into it. All of Africa in one country. At least, that's the reputation Cameroon has had for quite some time. Why is that? The reason is quite simple. This country concentrates a bit of everything that the continent has to offer, both in terms of geographical diversity and culture. It is estimated that 250 ethnic groups live in the country, hence its nickname Africa in miniature. This diversity does not stop at ethnic differences. There's also an important religious mix. The country is home to both a Christian community, which represents 40% of the population, a Muslim community that represents 20%, while another 20% are animists. In addition, there's a linguistic diversity, with a French-speaking as well as an English-speaking population. It's simple. You just have to look at a map to understand that diversity is an integral part of the country. It starts with the landscape. In the north, there are desert banks, then come the savannas, the high plateaus, up to Mount Cameroon, which culminates at 4,100 meters of altitude near the coast. Cameroon has also beautiful tropical beaches, before moving into the south of the country, which is home to the deep equatorial forest. Nature itself seems to want some diversity for Cameroon, and that is all to its advantage. True culinary discoveries. You thought you had seen and tasted everything in terms of cuisine, right? Well, unless you have already tasted Cameroonian recipes, you ain't seen nothing yet. If you can easily and inexpensively feast everywhere in the country, it is quite possible to make amazing culinary discoveries. We're not talking about simple strange spices or sweet and salty mixtures, but about the ingredients themselves. For example, it is possible to eat snakes in Cameroon. Yep, that's right. But that's not all. It is also possible to eat monitor lizards, a common reptile species, as well as crocodile meat with another animal just as tasty, termites. And if you think this is a joke or something dangerous, it's not. If you can find a good restaurant, the Cameroonian chefs will know how to cook these animals with brilliance so that you will not have the slightest problem of digestion. As for the taste, well, it depends on what you are used to. You should know that in Cameroon, viper meat was a dish of nobility. Don't be offended at the idea of tasting it. The most natural fauna. After hearing all the possible meats we just mentioned, you probably suspect that Cameroon is home to some very confusing wildlife, right? But if the viper and crocodile's meat have surprised you, then you're in for some more surprises, because Cameroon has many animals of the savannah to showcase. Among them are elephants, giraffes, hippos, cheetahs, buffaloes, antelopes, and even packs of lions. In addition, even though they can be seen on classic safaris, Cameroon is one of the very few countries in the world to have gorillas in their natural habitat. Unfortunately, due to human activity such as poaching and ivory hunting, nearly 70% of these animals are killed. The country is trying to set up protected areas, hoping that these will be effective in preventing the extinction of some species. The country's economic sectors. Here we go on a subject very specific to the country, since it is its economic activity. This is what makes the country live, and it should not be neglected in this video. Thus, Cameroon has natural agricultural resources that are not lacking in exploitation. The most exported agricultural products of the country are bananas, cocoa, coffee, cotton, or honey. Another exploitation that brings wealth to the country is the mining industry. Because of its geological activity, well represented by Mount Cameroon, for example, the country is home to iron, cobalt, nickel, marble, and even diamond mines. In fact, mining companies in Vancouver and Toronto believe that Cameroon will be a major mining country in the years to come. Finally, the other area in which Cameroon is playing a major role is the oil industry. Fuels such as crude oil and gas are coveted and add economic value to the country. A recognized heritage. For this fact number 5, let's talk a little bit about Cameroon's heritage. 2 Cameroonian sites are on the UNESCO World Heritage List, which is a major asset for this country. The first site in question is the Ja Wildlife Reserve, which is also one of the largest rainforests in. The other recognized site is the Sanga Trinational. This park is also dedicated to nature preservation on the border of the Congo and the Central African Republic. However, there are many other places that are worth a visit, such as the Bafut Chiefdom. This place is a microstate governed by a decree of 1977 once the era of colonialism was over. Today, the country still has several dozens of them, although they are losing their real influence, often to the benefit of mayors. The Cameroonian national football or soccer team. If there's one more thing that makes Cameroon proud, it is its national football or soccer team. This country is often talked about for its national soccer team, nicknamed the Indomitable Lions. It is the first African country to have reached the quarterfinals of the World Cup. This happened in 1990 when the team was selected by Valerie Nepomniachtchi. Scoring 2 goals against England, Cameroon failed to equalize before the final whistle and found themselves losing by 3 goals. At that time, the team's captain was the famous Stephen Tatal. Tatal died in July 2020, leaving the entire country in mourning for its iconic right-back defensive player. Since then, the national Cameroonian team has yet to make a name for itself, but could perhaps welcome some talent in the future. A capital city with a variety of people. It is often said that Yaoundé, the capital of Cameroon, is the city of civil servants. In fact, one can recognize them by their suits. So far, no problem. However, if you were told that in the city of Yaoundé, everyone is a little afraid of everyone else, you might have trouble understanding. However, this is indeed the case. In the capital, people generally keep to themselves for fear of running into someone close to a high-ranking person, be it a neighbor, a relative, or an uncle. This is the reason why you can hear people say, "Do you know who I am?" during a collision in the street. On the other hand, and if the city can be frequented by high-ranking people, it is necessary to know that the pickpockets roam and represent a public stake. They are very discreet and use blades to cut the seams of the pockets and recover their contents. Sometimes some pickpockets manage to sell to a person their own phone that they have just stolen. As you can see, the contrast between the different social classes is very pronounced in Cameroon. Cameroonian fabrics. Let's move on to the 8th fact with a traditional object of Cameroon, the fabric. It is important to know that Cameroon is divided into 10 distinct regions. Each of them has different cultures, and these cultures themselves have traditional costumes. An example of this is the Kaba and Sanja along the coastal region. The men wear the Sanja and the women wear the Kaba. In the northwest of Cameroon, the Togu and Atogu are worn. Behind these fabrics, there's a real history of tradition. This tradition comes from the missionaries who brought Christianity to Cameroon, not appreciating to see Cameroonians dressed poorly. The Christians encouraged them to wear loincloths to hide their nudity. Time did its work and Cameroonians eventually adapted these fabrics. Today, these outfits have evolved so that they vary from region to region. Traditional music. Since ancient times, traditional music has been the means of commemorating the facts and events that have marked a family, an ethnic group, or people during its life. The music of Cameroon is no exception and is therefore rich in sounds and vibrations. One can notice the use of instruments such as vet, the tam-tam, the drum, the balafon, and many other forms of percussions. Nowadays, as everywhere in the world, the opening of the country and the new technologies have ended up having their influence on the Cameroonian musical universe, so much so that this music is proudly represented throughout the world, between tradition and modernity. Yannick Noah fits this description perfectly. Yes, the former tennis player of French and Cameroonian origin has been successful in the world of music with a variety of styles. Other icons of Cameroonian music are Charlotte Dipanda, Manu Dibango, or Ben and Grace Deka, whose favorite music field is Makossa, a popular music style. The Cameroonian flag explained. The three colors of the flag are the Pan-African colors. The green represents the southern equatorial forest of Cameroon, progress and the hope of a rich and prosperous Cameroon. The golden yellow represents the sun, wealth, durability, soil and savanna of the country. The last band is red and symbolizes authority and the link between the different regions of the country. Finally, the gold star, placed in the middle of the flag, represents the union of the country, which acts as a single, strong and indivisible state. The meaning of this flag is therefore very rich and evokes the deep values of the country. There you have it, folks. You have now learned 10 facts about Cameroon. Which fact surprised you the most? Tell us your impressions in the comments. If you like this video and if it impressed you, show us by putting a like and subscribing to our Africa Revealed channel. On that note, we hope to see you soon in our new videos. Bless.
Home morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like Reflection, News, Health, Discovery, Talking Points, Press Review, Pigeon News, our guest of the day, Sports, Culture, and Public Opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from our discovery about our country Cameroon, painting a clear picture of how beautiful the country looks like, be it from Yaoundé, from our cultural heritage, economy, social well-being. It's important. That's what we Cameroonians are. And this morning, from the transition there, it indicates that we're moving over to our next slot, which happens to be this day in history. And here with me in the studio is Yvonne Lafon. Good morning, Yvonne.
Good morning, Mr. Wana. Thank you for this great opportunity. Good morning, televiewers of Home TV and those who are taking breakfast. I hope you are enjoying your breakfast. So this date is the 18th of March 2025. Okay, I'll be giving you some highlights on this day in history. We're talking about some events that actually happened on this particular day in history. Well, I will begin with British, talking about Neville Chamberlain, who was British Prime Minister from May 28, 1937 to May 10, 1940, and whose name is identified with the policy of appeasement towards Adolf Hitler's Germany. He was born on this date in the year 1869. So next to that, I'll be talking on great inventors. I'm talking about inventors. So the first person who invented the monophone, constructed by a Romanian inventor, Trajan Vuan, made a flight of 12 meters, that is 40 feet. So I want to seize this opportunity to salute all the great inventors out there and keep doing a great job that you have always been doing. Away from that, we'll be talking on a queen's birthday, a queen who is known as Queen Latifah. She is an American musician and actress as well. She was born on this date in the year 1970, and she is actually 54 years old today. Away from that, we'll go to China. In China, on this day in the year 2000, Chen Shuangbian, a leader of the pro-independence movement that sought statehood for the Republic of China, that is in Taiwan, was elected president of Taiwan, breaking the Nationalist Party's 55th years of rule. Away from that, we'll actually talk about this great musician who is also a songwriter and a guitarist, known as Chuck Berry, who was a leading and influential performer in rhythm and blues and rock and roll music. He died at the age of 90. So may his soul continue to rest in perfect peace. Away from that, we'll talk about sport, and that's where we'll actually end with our discovery on this day in history. So we're talking about sport. The speed staker Bonnie Blair, one of the most successful American women athletes in the Olympic competition, was born in Cornwall in New York. So I want to seize the opportunity to wish her a happy birthday. And of course, I'll be wishing happy birthday to all those who were born on this great day out there. So keep celebrating and keep winning. Thank you, Wana, for this opportunity.
It is March 18, 2025. It is important for us to always get to know what actually transpired on March 18, or to get to understand what transpired this every day, every new day in history. There are events that do happen. Though sometimes we begin to ask ourselves if at all we still have archivists, those who keep archives in Cameroon. You remember that we have the National Archive in Boya as well as that in Yaoundé. We are hoping that the archive center in Boya will get revived. Those who want to understand how to get to the archive is just located just beside the governor's office in Boya. It's important to visit from time to time to get to understand your history. Is important. All right, thank you very much, Yvette Lafon, for being there for us. We look forward to receiving you again tomorrow for another good dose of what happened in the year, or I should say, on the 19th of March, 2000, and maybe in history as well. So thanks for being there for us. We shall see you again tomorrow when it shall be 8:10.
All right, thank you, televiewers. Thank you for watching this program. Hopefully tomorrow I shall be bringing you a new discovery on what actually happened on the 19th of March. Thank you, and see you tomorrow.
All right, we are going to usher her out of the studio with this beautiful piece, Les Anges. Les Anges. It is titled Alice. Enjoy the piece. When we come back, we shall be meeting our PG newscaster, Elvis FM.
Sona Yonge dans les passés Samuel Kaka Alice de mon moulin manique Alice de mon sangi seno masese Bele kama muzinga na mulema mulo komemba Bele kama muzinga na mulema mulo kome Alain Betame le professionnel Ayo Alice de mon moulin manique de mon sangi seno masese Bele kama muzinga na mulema mulo komemba Bele kama muzinga na mulema mulo kome La perangue au solo O misinga Oba Na bele jaite Na bele jaipote anuni minu bebe Iyalende mana na mabunya tene de tongele wa Anyamule maho Na bele jaite Na bele jaipote anuni munu karo Iyalende mana na mabunya tene de tongele wa Anyamule maho Ayo iuba Chantal et Keke Anna Christine et Keke Les fleurs Bunyatene na mbebo nyola ngogo Bulutene na mbebo nyola ngogo Mwasetene na mbebo nyola ngogo Bunyatene na mbebo nyola ngogo Ngomo desende mabwake Nyola ngobae Ngomolane mbala kwendo ibisemba No desende mbebo kwendo Ilangwe sangame Ngomolane mbae Nebio Bombastic DJ Ayo Alice Demo bola no manike Alice Demo sengi seno basese Bele toma muzinga na mulema mulo komebe Bele toma muzinga na mulema mulo komebe Le jeune premier William Pessa Justin King Écoute Je me demande pourquoi je t'ai donné mon cœur. Je me demande pourquoi je t'ai donné mon amour. Si je savais, ben y'a tombé sous canne. Aïe oh Bana sone yongo. Aïe oh Bana moune keke Le témoin danse levé. Christian Bomala, où es-tu? Tu là? Mon ami Pépine Damé, le socle de la basse.
Il montre sa valeur dans son foyer.
L'élégant garçon, NSC Canada.
Sur le départ d'une femme, il montre sa valeur dans son foyer.
Landry McKay, l'élégance c'est l'esprit, c'est toi. Voilà, Kima, comment, c'est ça.
Il montre sa valeur dans son foyer. Il est vrai, sur le départ d'une femme. Il montre sa valeur dans son foyer.
Affaire à suivre.
Home morning. It is your wake-up show from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m. from Mondays to Fridays. On Home Morning, we shall feed your indulgence with regular slots like reflection, news, health of the day, sports, culture, and public opinion. Make it a date with us on the show as we usher you to the dawn of a new day with renewed energy. Beautiful piece there from Les Anges this morning, titled Alice. Alice, oh, Jemombola no manikae. Alice, a pigeon newscaster Elvis FM to tell us what are some of those stories animating our neighborhood this morning. Good morning, Elvis. Good morning, Tori Masa.
Countryman, what's the apple for you today?
No, you know, say sometime chief one for take air. It could make air knock my head small.
If you try that one for Palace for Sunday, no, don't move that shit out of your head one time. Now I don't decide now either where the one or where the allergic happen.
Okay.
Yes.
So tell me, Tori for corner side now how it happen. You know, say big story, the baby's joy, baby's celebration, the happen for Ida battle.
Yes.
And for Southwest since last night.
That one na fine to know. Even though plenty people they ask question, but I believe say this so inside Tori house. Wow, head work now for make sure say this so move get that question the way plenty people they ask them for inside this matter way it take pass for that side country.
All right, broken chakara with Tori.
Yes, country people them. I want to raise special salute for all man where they don't stop for outside. They for see the one we make Tori for inside our own Tori house. We they call them home TV. Time you don't reach. For we, for Tonton, for bring una the one way it happen for outside him. We could take una one time, enter for inside Douala Yabunde Road. We according to the Tori way the enter for home TV. The on Tori house. Now one of big travel agency them. They call them for inside big books inter urban transport agency. A tumble site for weekend with plenty people for inside the motor and inside waiting. He enter for inside we on Tori house. They talk say this so plenty to them. We people they will carry from Yabunde, from Douala to Yabunde, he come out and all man, even though plenty people don't get caught, they talk to this to doctor, they look what are the other one them, where they be sleep, they ning them, they don't wake up, whether finally they don't sleep now straight, or they go still wake up after we they don't rest for better way. So for inside chapter for Tori will remain for inside Douala Yabunde Road. Wait happen according to Tori way he enter for inside we on Tori house. Now traffic it be happen for inside Douala Yabunde Road. After when Gongoro motor where it carry petrol, it catch fire. As una dey see and so now that way it takes time, it happen for that side for inside Douala Yabunde Road where big motor where it carry petrol, it catch fire. When I sabi say plenty people then dey for outside there when they see where motor where it carry petrol, it homicide. Plenty of them they run for go pick this for go catch or for carry small one where they use them or for take them sell them get small money. But whatever when I say this, so this not be fighting that because you won't go for them. You don't know when if you catch fire. I don't know the next thing way if it happen. Sometimes if you want happen, it meet up na you or any of your family people. So to else it use opportunity for tell when I say this. So anytime where you see where motor it catch fire where you carry petrol, run. No go for corner the motor. May we continue so for inside chapter for transport. When yesterday plenty people them passenger them where they be supposed for come out for inside we own airport for side country here for enter for outside for inside Yabunde. They be get plenty vex for inside the heart for Sika Douala to Yabunde. It be like say the plane is delayed. They don't know what to happen and themselves say they be expect for here with them the authority them for company where it look at this plane them or where it manage these people where they call them can make or come for tell and say this. So sometimes una work cannot go happen today, sometimes una feel work after 3 hours or sometimes weather they find. But for inside this same to them, the people they don't hear anything from this authority them. Now why that they be there for inside the airport with vex. Plenty vex for inside their heart for that side country. More command for inside that same chapter. We take gonna enter for inside Sawe. Where Tori where the command for that side. They say yesterday it don't be easy for that side. Inside we own Tori house. Say now for that side for Bomakan for inside Boyade we gone Ihala. Inside this same Torim. They point hand for inside Boydem with their head work. They don't talk say this with the one jobs in country. That means the one come out for inside power for Yabunde, he own country, go from their own. We not sabi whether na which kind of country that, but according to the Tori we enter for inside home TV their own Tori house. Yesterday, it be been a day with themselves. They ever talk say a day we country for them, they get for shidon for house. How the team ila tonton reach na the one way this countryman we they call say Mr. We they call say Mr. Kundi and then Mr. Jude. We they enter for by 4-6 feet. Now the one that we self will not sabi as even a feel for inside this countryman for game. Inside the same chapter, Tori house, if you turn for backside, small cry, if be there for that side country. If it take it happen for that side country, for fit easy. Plenty people them they talk say this so this other countryman we na Mr. Jude, he get 5 picking them we na he sep he look at them. Now he don't by force sleep straight with the gun where they use na gun. Who could take care of that picking them? You know, sabi say sometime you dey see where man dey cry die. No me say he like am for cry die. You dey check na the load where the person where he don't die. He don't leave am for you. You go make you dey cry. Plenty people they don't dey talk say this so time go stop this kene for Norway and Southwest. But more than not forget say this so head boy for government. You go reach down for inside strong dongame for see which don't dey happen for inside chapter for man to man talk where it be happen for Yabunde for see how we they fit stop this thing for Northwest and Southwest. To the house go the tonton for bring una back this same Tori. More come out enter for inside Tori where plenty people they be glad for inside chapter for Dio for our side for Eda Bato Mr. Oga Ewane Roland. We sometime them they be TV for October for 2024 and inside this same chapter that way they don't see the countryman they say this one country people them for inside Nigeria they call them for inside big books say pirate them where they become TV and inside this one they be asked plenty thing them they talk say this one make them give plenty money. Sometimes them video it be come out for inside social media, it be turn for other sides. Where this countryman, it be they cry like small pikin, where they whip him with broom. He say this will make the hell be for contribute, for give money so that me too it come out. Plenty people be they expect for year which way government can talk, but inside this same chapter, government you know be talk nothing. Governor for our side for Southwest region, Governor Okala Bilan, Ibitonton, enter for inside Eda Bato for inside this same Tori. Until we be do, if it talks say this so country, they know that means government. Kitu people, they know who them where they work this work, and they don't give them time. Me they move them. I be talk say this will market and other bine place them for that side for inside either battle. It no go happen until this man come out. How the thing it take am happen? We go take una enter for inside the next countryman. You go take we make the shmona see deal as they don't move in. Then they within your people. When I see how we countryman she don't know. When I see how we Iran she don't know. Thing where the past we hate. It always say na so oh. Like this way, the fine thing where the way you feel even come so what I get something for you or not, you feel call it come so tonton so see how we motor the pass van enter your house. That one a fine pass, plenty million them where you get them for inside your own pocket. So for inside this same chapter, Madam Wana where he sep every day with a plenty glad for inside his own compound. Una see him? That one, it be been a plenty celebration for Oga Wana Roland, his own compound. After we news he enter for inside his own family. Say it is so he don't come out for inside people where the thief people hide them, ask money for their own house. Now we plenty celebration. It be take style it turn for that side. Even though as this celebration it be happen, plenty people they ask question how it do manage come out. When I say this so these people they be don't ask plenty thing them say Cameroon government they go move plenty of their own people where they be don't take them and then buy them boat where they feel use them. What na boat what they can do other work when which kind of work inside this same chapter they be ask plenty money too where they be expect say this will make Cameroon government pay before they go move this countryman. The same question now plenty people they ask and I say SK they be give the money or now say the people they should don't they hard fine. They say, countryman, come out. But the one that we, if you ask him, to the house, you know if you answer, but the big news, now say this countryman, he don't come out. Monte gonna enter for inside Bamenda, we now for that side for behind chair. Some countryman, they don't send me for by force sleep state for sick waiting. As when I see as the man sleep for inside that close where they don't cover him. How the thing it take happen? They point hand for this countryman, see this so he by force. Chop some small picking is soya for inside Katre, for that side for Bianche, for Bamenda Day. Contribute them to the vex. They talk say now some deep part them. We they take picking them, spoil picking them, spoil skin for picking them, we picking them, they see they for inside small picking way. Now way they use vex for inside this same chapter. They send this power for by force slip straight for that side for Bianche, Bamenda Day. Inside this one to the house. Go the tonton. For bring una more of that Tori when it could be 300 for Tori house. So for inside chapter for Tori, countryman, if you there for outside day where you never ever give chef whiskey. Yeah, until one give chef whiskey, never get na countryman. Tonton will say the thing never pass over backside. As soon as they say I'm supposed to chef the work now, yes. Countryman don't come on me like say what moto I don't know. I don't say any man when a gentleman. By the time you want salon man, you must look man for your face. Then you salon he. The way the salon man they look na backside so now how the thing pass now. They say eye way is here. They must wash the eye. They don't tell me say this so my time not finish.
Thank you very much, Elvis FM. The big news we Cameroonians they celebrate today and they release for Mr. Roland Wana. We too will be get for like say we'll see how Mr. Namata Elangwe Dio for Batibo will be they kidnapped when this crisis be just start around 2018 to date. No man ever hear anything where it happen with he again. And of course, it's all about celebrating the life. It's all about celebrating the return of Mr. Roland Wana. Thanks for being there for us, Elvis. We look forward to receiving you again tomorrow.
Thank you very much, countryman. But I want to tell you something today. So they don't talk say government their own machine. It work and kunya. As you don't come over that side for a battle, sometimes you hear good news to that side country.
Government machinery grinds slowly but surely. So always keep that in mind. There is nothing the government of Cameroon cannot do. They can do
and undo. They might be quiet, pretending as if they are not saying anything. Don't worry. When they want to grant you, they will grant you. All right? Yes. This morning, ladies and gentlemen, our talking point centers around 2025 presidential election as calls multiply for an opposition coalition. Is it of any necessity? Is it of any necessity for us having a political opposition coalition in Cameroon if truly we want to unseat the ruling CPDM party? And this morning, my main guest is going to be Mr. or I should say Prince Epierre Ejede. He is joining me on the line to Yaoundé. He is the spokesperson of Mr. Karemuna. Good morning, Prince Epierre.
Good morning to you, Mr. Wana. Good morning to the televiewers. Good morning. It's nice having you on your platform.
Tell us, how is Yaoundé this morning?
Yaoundé is there. Yaoundé is there. no big problems at all. Yaoundé is good.
All right.
It's just the debt that we see everywhere around Yaoundé. That is just what is disturbing and preoccupying. Because we are afraid that maybe since the rain has started, it might lead to some epidemic because everywhere is dirty in Yaoundé.
All right.
That is just what is very preoccupying in Yaoundé.
All right, haphazard waste disposal in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, where we have the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development. We have the Ministry of Decentralization. We have 6 councils that make up the Yaoundé City Council. We are hoping that the local authorities shall do something. They should not wait for the presidency to come down and clean the streets of Yaoundé. It's important for those who are concerned to do their assignment perfectly well.
Yes, what is even very disturbing in all of this is that you just understood that recently the Prime Minister, head of government, had a meeting of which in that meeting it's been about 2 weeks now. That meeting he gave a 10-day ultimatum for all the mayors, every stakeholder who is involved for the disposition of this waste. Everybody's involved in this issue. They gave them 10 days, and that 10 days has elapsed. Everywhere in Yaoundé is thinking it's dirty. It's really disturbing.
This morning is all about 2025 presidential election as calls multiply for an opposition coalition. Is it of any necessity?
Yes, I will be very, very clear.
Okay.
Or political parties to form a coalition, especially during elections. Yes, so I'm also of the opinion that especially opposition political parties should come together to form a coalition. But what Cameroonians need to also know is that it doesn't necessarily mean forming a coalition because some are thinking that it should be an opposition candidate. No, that is not the way we look at it. There might be many opposition candidates, but these candidates may be groups of political parties coming together to form their own coalition with their own objectives and their own ideology. That is the way I look at it. You know very well, as you presented me, I'm first of all coming from the Popular Action Party background. That is the National Secretary for Communication spokesperson of the Popular Action Party. We came and gave birth to a coalition which is being called today Union for Reconstruction. That is the coalition that is portraying as their candidate Lopatonia Keremuna. And this is a coalition which is being made up of other political parties and civil society organizations and personalities. So we have many other coalitions that have been formed. We hear of the RTP, we hear of the RPC. So it's very normal that political parties to come together, civil society organizations come together to form a coalition.
Now, haven't you realized that Cameroonian politicians are so greedy to an extent that it makes it so difficult for us to have a constructive coalition in Cameroon?
Of thought of it. We thought of all what you are saying, having going behind some pretty politicians that tomorrow maybe will not attain to the objectives of Cameroonians. But in this life, Cameroonians need to know that
Hello, Pierre. All right. Now, this is a scenario like we have civil society organization who are planning to petition political parties in Cameroon to sign a letter or a proposal letter so that they could form a coalition, a unified coalition, if truly they want to unseat the ruling Speed Party this time around. What is Mr. Barrister Keremuna or Batonia Keremuna proposing as a candidate of the opposition, as a candidate of the coalition, because he's not an opposition, a candidate of the coalition? What is he proposing? What meaningful construction is proposing to Cameroonians at this point in time, if truly he's been voted into office tomorrow?
That is a very, very good question. It's a very, very fundamental question, and I'll answer the question very directly. What our candidate Batonia Keremuna is proposing to Cameroonians is a 5-year transition, non-renewable. So I want it to be very clear, I'll repeat it, a 5-year transition to be non-renewable. Now, what Batonia Keremuna thinks that with his posture, with his connaissance of the Cameroonian reality, it needs somebody of his caliber, somebody of his pedigree to take the destiny of Cameroonians, and like reconstruct the state. And in this process of reconstruction, it will not be his personal decision; it will be a consultative decision with all Cameroonians. For example, in this transition of 5 years, there will be the reconstruction of all state institutions. There will be educational reforms. There will be health reforms. And he thinks that within 5 years, he can reconstruct the state and allow now power to go down to the younger generation by assuring that there is a revision of the electoral code which will be equitable to all Cameroonians, and everybody will be willing to play the game to play the game for the political evolution of this country. That is a free and transparent election. That is what Batonia Keremuna is taking in his package, and he embodies all of this in a program that is being built on 8 pillars. A program that is being built on 8 pillars with a focus on peace, the fight against corruption, and as I made mention, the transition.
Now, looking at the proposal made by Batonia Keremuna, we understand that 2025 is finally here. The month of October is fast coming, and the last presidential election, he was a candidate for the Universe Party. Today, we are hoping that his candidature will be validated so that he could contest to the House. But then, don't you think that this coalition is coming pretty late? It would have started since the last presidential election we had. After the elections, after the proclamation of the result, this preparation would have started ere long. Don't you think people are coming too pretty late?
Mr. Wana, will be very, very clear to you. There is this saying that it's better late than never. It's better late than never. But to recall that in 2018, it was not the United Party that invested Batonia Keremuna. It was a different political party. It is this 2025 that Batonia Keremuna is to be invested the Popular Action Party. So to tell the thing I told you that it is not today, but it's very true that maybe many Cameroonians were like expecting that maybe as from the end of the presidential elections in 2018, a coalition of that sort could be formed. But you yourself, at the beginning of the program, you made mention that we have a greedy politician that I even call some of them scrupulous politicians. So it has to take some time, maybe for a candidate to do consultations and maybe try to do like what we call in our local languages shifter, to bring like a shifter for the candidate to see the caliber, the pedigree of people that he could work with. And as I made mention that on the 28th of September 2024, it became a reality.
We understand, Mr. Prince APM, that campaigns have not started, but let me say direct campaigns have not started. We have indirect campaigns ongoing by every political party, because if you watch them on TV and radio stations, everyone is talking about what their candidates intend to do if voted into office. Now, how do you intend to manage the complex political dictum we have in Cameroon prior to October 2025? We know the SDF is coming in with her own proposal. We know the MRC party is coming with her own proposal. What are people doing to help get the MRC, the SDF, under the umbrella of the coalition, so that together, if truly we want a change for this great nation, we could together achieve our objectives?
I want to make mention that maybe the activities of the particular Wana maybe has not been, maybe there is a little bit of misinformation on his activities. He has always been on the field. Maybe recently he was in Douala, where he went and visited the Anglophone community of IDPs there in Douala. He has been carrying on activities of that sort. But also to make mention that I don't want us to give the impression of Cameroonians, the impression to Cameroonians, I beg your pardon, that it must, that is like Akeremuna, Joshua Osi, Maurice Kamto must come together for a coalition, for it to be called that a coalition has been formed. No, Cameroonians should not have that mentality. If maybe people refuse to come together, but others decide to come together, Cameroonians should give them the confidence. But we know very well that maybe to a more stronger coalition. But that notwithstanding, at the level of the Union for Reconstruction, that is the UFR, which is being headed by Lobato Akeremuna, we are very open to other political parties and consultations. I want to assure you and assure Cameroonians that consultations are still going on, and in the days ahead, many surprises will come and many surprises will be had.
All right, Prince, maybe any last word as per our talking point? 2025 presidential election, as calls multiply on for an opposition coalition, is it of any necessity?
Please, sir, if you can rephrase your question, let me get it very well.
Just your last point, your last word as per our talking point. What should Cameroonians retain about the multiple calls of an opposition coalition in Cameroon to conquer, or to kick off, or to...
Cameroonians should know